These wide receivers are landmines. Stay away in 2025 fantasy football drafts. Let's start out with T. Higgins, Cincinnati Bengals. Why is he a landmine? Because he is being drafted as a borderline wide receiver one. T. Higgins, wide receiver one. Yes, we love the talent. Yes, we love Joe Burrow. We love that Higgins rides shotgun to Jamar Chase. But T. Higgins has never come close to that in his career. Last year, missed 5 games. When he's on the field, he's great. 911 yards and 10 touchdowns. Big year, but he missed 5 games. 27th percentile yards after the catch, and his average depth of target was only 26th percentile, so we can't blame it on downfield passes. That wasn't the case last year. Back to the injuries. He missed 5 games in 2023. In his career, he's had multiple games where in-game injuries, misses most or all of the snaps. T. Higgins has not had an 1,100-yard season. He has not had 110 targets in a season. We are gambling on him as a wide receiver one? No thanks. If his ADP falls, wide receiver 15, wide receiver 16, now we might be talking. But the durability, the inefficiency, Jamar Chase is going to have games where he is so far the guy. Nope, not at that cost on T. Higgins. Next, Tyreek Hill, Miami Dolphins. Tyreek Hill, look, superstar, legend, probably Hall of Famer, right? Going around wide receiver 15. Sounds like a great cost, especially we were paying up wide receiver 3 costs for him recently, this last year. Well, yeah, the numbers were bad. And I know Hill was hurt. I know he had a wrist injury. I know his surgery, and I know that had something to do with it. Well, 81 catches, 959 yards, 6 touchdowns. Those were his lowest totals as his rookie year. Hill was on the field. Again, some of that may have been injury. 38th percentile yards after the catch. That's not a wrist. That's not Tyreek Hill. That number should be in the 90s. That's a problem. Hill's going to be 31 this year. And one of the things with decline is you lose a little bit. And Tyreek Hill is still Superman, right? But remember, when Tua Tagovailoa was underthrowing him by 5 yards a couple of years ago, Hill would run back, jump over 2 defenders, grab the ball, turn around, run for big yardage. All of a sudden last year, and again, I know he had the wrist injury, you didn't see him doing that. And if Tyreek Hill can't bail out his quarterback on bad throws, what does that leave? Because those were a lot of his big plays. Tyreek Hill had 7 games last year with single-digit PPR points, 8 games under 40 yards, and there have been multiple reports he's not happy with the team. He wants out. It's resurfaced. He's not happy. He's aging. His coach, Mike McDaniel, not scheming him up as open as he used to. I cannot draft Tyreek Hill at that cost. Next, Zay Flowers, Baltimore Ravens. Zay Flowers' ADP's dropped a little bit through this offseason. He's down to about wide receiver 25, but still, it's overpriced. Now, take the whole season for Zay Flowers, and it was good. He had 1,059 yards, only 4 touchdowns, 85th percentile yards after the catch, 116 targets. So who's going to complain with that? Me. I'm complaining. Weeks 1 through 9 were great. He had 5 games at 18.5 or more PPR points. But here's the problem. The Ravens fixed their run game as the season went on. They made a fix in week 3 by bringing in the fullback more. The real fix was week 10 and beyond. They started putting Lamar Jackson in the shotgun, running Derrick Henry out of that. All of a sudden, we saw that running game with Henry and Jackson pop. What happened to Zay Flowers? Weeks 10 through 18, 1 game that Zay Flowers went over 11.9 PPR points. That is Baltimore's new reality. It's Lamar Jackson, it's Derrick Henry. They are running the football. They'll throw when they need to, but when they do throw, still got Mark Andrews, still got Rashad Bateman, and to a lesser extent, you still have Isaiah Likely. Paying that for Zay Flowers in this offense is going to run. No thanks. If you enjoy videos like this, consider hitting the like and subscribe button. Also, we're offering 15% off all RotoWire products. Go to rotowire.com, pick your favorite product, and use the code YouTube15 to score your 15% discount. A subscription gets you access to tools like our mock draft simulator and the picks and props tool. Again, go to rotowire.com and use the code YouTube15 at checkout. All right, next receiver, Matthew Golden, the rookie first-round draft pick, Green Bay Packers, going about wide receiver 44. And the service sounds like a fun price. It's not. Remember last season, Jordan Love, second half of the season, attempting 27 passes per game. Folks, that's low. This team's going to run Josh Jacobs. Matthew Gold's going to have to share some targets with Jaden Reed, Tucker Kraft, whether it's Romeo Doubs or Savion Williams. Not a lot to do with 27 targets. The other thing, Jordan Love has not always been the most efficient downfield passer. And if the Packers really want to get the most out of their 4.2 speed receiver, they're going to use him downfield. And that could be a problem. So I just don't see the potential, the targets. I don't see the fit between Golden with the speed and Jordan Love. There'll be games. There'll be a couple pop games for sure. But I don't see too many situations where Golden finishes near his ADP. I think he's outside the top 50. He might be outside the top 55. Definitely avoiding Matthew Golden. Next, another rookie. I'm going to be picking on those rookies today. Luther Burden, Chicago Bears. Luther Burden's going inside the top 50 receivers. And I know people are excited. Second round draft pick, schemed up well in college, lots of yards after the catch. Here's the problem. DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Colston Loveland. They're probably the top 3 in the pecking order in the passing game. Luther Burden is going to look for scraps. Here's the other problem. Ben Johnson coached in Detroit. Their tight ends were on the field frequently, 2 of them. What did that mean? Their wide receiver, the third one, was only playing about 55% of the time. So that means there's going to be a snap squeeze. So that said, look, I don't know how Luther Burden's talent will end up shaking out in the NFL. But I know DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, and Colston Loveland are definitely commanding targets. Burden's the 4th option when he's actually on the field. I don't think he sniffs the top 55 receivers. Complete fade unless he falls deep in drafts. Finally, Michael Pittman. Now, he's already priced down around wide receiver 51. And last year, he still had 808 yards and 3 touchdowns. That was his worst year since his rookie year. Here's the problem. Michael Pittman's a good player, but he only had 48th percentile yards after the catch. That's a problem. The other problem is the quarterback play, as we know, and he had that last year, so really no big difference. Anthony Richardson, now it's Daniel Jones, but they draft Tyler Warren. And Tyler Warren is going to live in the same area of the field. Now, I know Pittman's on the perimeter a little more, but it's a short and intermediate area. And a lot of those possession targets that went to Pittman are now going to go to Tyler Warren. And now if you're going to take Michael Pittman, who was not very efficient, and you're going to give him target competition, that's a real problem. So I'm out on Michael Pittman at ADP.